exciting new legislation that's going to benefit SUNY Broome. So, Senator Webb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let's go right there. Well, I just want to extend my profound appreciation to my great colleague in the State Assembly, Assemblywoman Donna Lupardo. Her and I partnered together on this very pivotal piece of legislation that really continues the state's investment in agritourism and investing in bringing together both the farming and craft beverage industry that continues to grow, most certainly in our region here in the Southern Tier, and also across the state. And I would be remiss in this moment if I didn't mention where we're standing, and we're standing right here at SUNY Broome's Culinary Center that, again, this legislation will really help to continue to advance the great work that SUNY Broome is doing through its culinary program that will have impacts on our community at large. Assemblywoman Lupardo will go into more detail about the legislation and what it does, but as someone who's not only a proud alum of SUNY Broome, I understand firsthand how pivotal a role that higher education plays in economic development in our community and beyond. And so this legislation really brings together all of these vital stakeholders in continuing to promote job creation through agritourism. And so I want to thank everyone here at SUNY Broome, and of course my colleague, Assemblywoman Donna Lupardo, who I'm going to bring up right now to share some remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Senator. Thanks for your leadership in getting this bill I'm going to discuss through the Senate. So back in 2018, on SUNY Broome campus, they opened the Police Advanced Manufacturing Center. And within that center, an enormous number of important laboratories and places where students are learning about important careers. Two laboratories exist. One, a brew lab, and another is called the Fermentation and Distillation Lab, where students are learning about the craft beverage industry, brewing beer, learning about distilled spirits. Some few years later, this facility opened up as the Culinary Event Center, and in a recent conversation I was having with the dean, I asked him a very simple question. Why aren't you serving the beer that's being brewed as part of the curriculum here at the event center? Because not only are they hosting weddings and community events, they're rented out, there's a beautiful bar upstairs, and students who are learning about the culinary industry, why aren't you serving local products? And he said that they weren't allowed to by state law, and a law would need to be changed. And so lo and behold, he was talking to a lawmaker, with a friend who's a lawmaker, and we were able to change that law. We basically had to change their liquor license to allow them to not only brew the beer as part of the farm brew license, but to transport it to just this location, which is part of the SUNY Broome system. So we're very, very excited that students who are not only learning about the new craft beverage industry by brewing their own beer and distilling their own spirits, and eventually this bill will allow them to engage in wine, cider, and mead. Students who are excited about this new craft beverage industry not only can see how it's made, they can also see how it's served and how people will appreciate it. For me personally, I'm looking forward to the pride that students will feel when they see how much people enjoy those products, but also the naming rights to these lagers and pilsners and beers. You know, the Webb wheat beer is something we might want to consider like a Lupardo lager, I'm just saying. So, you know, with that in mind, I think when the lawmakers are paying attention to connecting the dots, to making sure that investments that we're making in one place benefit the investments we're making in another. It's something as simple as this, allowing beer that's brewed by students to be served in a place that's training students for the culinary arts. It seemed like a no-brainer to us. We're very happy that we got their license changed. And with that, we're going to hear from Dr. Christine Marty Ocello, who is the interim dean of the STEM program at SUNY Broome.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It feels really like a dream come true. Thank you, Senator Webb and Assemblywoman Donna Lupardo, for just hearing our cry when we sat down and had that conversation around
what does it look like to not only support students who want to be able to see this whole process from farm to table, but also look at what it takes to support local farmers that are looking to do value addition of their crops. And so what we see with this type of legislation is it gives us an opportunity to not only support students, but to support local entrepreneurs, to support farmers to become more competitive, but to also create an environment that can be a net draw into the greater Binghamton area, the southern tier of New York. And so when I think about what this means, not only for SUNY Broome, but other colleges that are asking questions, how can we be innovative? What can we do? And how can we engage with our representatives, our elected officials, our local community to really transform how we engage and scale and build healthy communities. So this is a very exciting time for us at SUNY Broome. We're looking at finding ways in which we can engage with our high schools, other disciplines within the community college, but also other students from other colleges that might ask the question, what can we do? How can I transform my chemistry degree into one in which I'm engaging in food science and specifically doing something with brews? How can we work with local entrepreneurs to say, I've always had an idea about what type of brew I would make, but I don't have the capacity to do it. And so we see ourselves as a location that will enable people to do more capacity building, but to also do some level of R&D, while we're also training up our students to not only brew it, but also serve it. So I know that sounds a little corny, but it's actually quite exciting to be standing at this space and really looking at how a dream that was put in place many, many years ago has translated into actuality, and we're looking forward to serving all of you when the time comes.
Let me just ask a question. Food sciences track. Can you say a little bit about that?
So yeah, sure, I can talk a little bit about the food sciences track. So food science is a discipline that really enables people to scale up the production of any kind of processed food, right? And actually my first degree was in food science and technology, so it feels quite interesting. But really that track is one that enables people to get into brewing, into making sauces, ice creams, if you like potato chips, right? If you're into Pringles and you wonder why are there so many different types of Pringles? Food scientists do a lot of work in creating different types of foods, but they also do a lot of work in regulation, in analysis, in really paying attention to what's coming out of the ground, what types of crops are we using to produce the quality of product that we're seeking. So even with this particular license, right, and as we reflect on what types of brews will come out of here, we have to think about what kind of hops are we going to use, which farmers are going to supply that hop. Is it, clean of pesticides, right? How safe is it? And so there's a lot of work that happens on the back end from a food science perspective, but also from a microbiology perspective, a chemistry perspective, but certainly also the creativity of the culinary, all right? So typically when we think of a food technologist, we might think of only that scientist in a lab designing a product, but you need the creativity of culinary to drive the need for the palettes that we now have across the board. So thanks for asking that question. I appreciate it, but thank you again.
Yeah, I'd just like to add one thing. So we're really trying to highlight the wonderful work that goes on at SUNY Broome, and again, we're happy as legislators to have helped along your mission, especially on the food sciences track. Just for the soundbite folks, I was just kidding about the brew names.
Yes.
Honestly, I don't want to make news with that. All right, any questions for anybody in Senator? Anybody?